Before sunrise, a 10-year-old had split the kindling, fed the stock, and pocketed his knife. By 12, he could do what most grown men today cannot. That world did not just vanish. What it took with it is the real story. In 1920, a boy stood in a drafty kitchen, his fingers black with grease as he helped his father rebuild a pump. Childhood was framed as an apprenticeship rather than a protected sanctuary of leisure. Across family farms, small towns, and city neighborhoods, the household served as a first workplace. By 12, a boy was expected to master tasks that modern adults now regularly outsource. It was a hard, often dangerous way to grow up, but it raised boys to be useful early, transforming children into reliable partners in survival. At 7 or 8, a boy received his first pocket knife, often a simple Barlow with a bone handle handed down by his father. It was not a toy, but ordinary equipment. In schoolyards and farmyards alike, carrying this blade was a normal part of growing up. A boy learned to whittle, tie secure knots, and make quick repairs, slowly earning the small, inevitable scars of a craftsman. This practical skill was assumed. A boy who could not maintain his own tools or mend what broke was the rare exception in a world that required usefulness. Before sunrise, a 10-year-old boy stepped into the damp chill of a barn, his forehead resting against the warm flank of a Jersey cow as he milked her into a heavy tin pail. Outside, his brother weeded the kitchen garden beds and gathered eggs from the roosts. These daily duties were about survival rather than symbolic lessons. In the autumn, boys helped butcher and process livestock for the winter smokehouse and spent crisp mornings hunting, trapping, or fishing to stretch the family larder. A boy knew exactly where food came from because his own hands had produced it. His contribution was ordinary, expected, and necessary, the quiet price of belonging to a household that relied on him. On a freezing winter morning, a 10-year-old boy hauled 2 heavy buckets of well water across a slick, icy yard, his breath blooming in the dark. Inside, the cast-iron cook stove waited for fuel. This daily labor arose from plain necessity, far removed from modern ideas of character building. Boys held the line between comfort and hardship inside households that could never pause. They watched over younger siblings, kept livestock secure, and tended the ravenous wood stoves. In towns, they worked paper routes, managed early milk runs, and swept shop floors to bring home coins for the weekly groceries. If a boy failed, the fire went out, the animals went hungry, or the family went without. Responsibility was a heavy, constant demand lived out every single day as the quiet, necessary price of survival. On freezing mornings, a boy walked miles to a drafty, one-room schoolhouse, but formal education never separated him from the immediate demands of home. School sat quietly beside labor, never replacing it. The true academy was the fence line, the barn, and the workbench. Here, practical knowledge passed from father to son and neighbor to neighbor through shared work and imitation. A boy learned by standing alongside older men holding the lantern, studying the timber, and watching how a seasoned hand guided the iron plane. This constant apprenticeship made self-reliance feel as natural as breathing. Yet this early competence carried a heavy price. It was a childhood shaped by demanding labor and physical danger, leaving little room for the long, protected years of play that later generations would know. Survival required usefulness, and those early lessons were carved directly into the wood and stone of everyday life. A Fordson tractor sputtered to life in a dusty field, doing the work of 10 young hands in a single afternoon. Legal reform followed the machinery. The Keating-Owen Act of 1916 and the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938 rightly ended the harsh exploitation of factory children, drawing a strict legal boundary around youth. Simultaneously, combine harvesters cleared boys from the fields. As families migrated to cities and post-war suburbs, televisions, automobiles, and store-bought goods filled the modern home. Within a single generation, the everyday necessity of a boy's labor simply dissolved. This new order brought undeniable gifts: safety, years of uninterrupted schooling, and opportunities previous generations could only dream of. The grim toll of childhood injuries and exploitative labor shrank into memory. Yet as those hardships faded, so did the quiet confidence born of being genuinely useful. We traded the demanding realities of early responsibility for the comforts of a protected youth, where a boy once stood in a muddy field and repaired a broken plow with a pocket knife and sheer grit. His grandson now calls for roadside assistance to change a flat tire. The trade was real. We gained modern ease but lost a quieter confidence. We didn't just lose practical skills, we lost a way of raising a boy into a man. Share your thoughts below.